Alright, what is going on, guys and gals? My name is Neko Fluttershy, and welcome to a video. So, in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about Gen Alpha. The latest generation to hit the market, if you know what I mean. So, I'm just gonna flat out say it right now. This generation is hopefully, I legitimately hope so, is going to be the last generation, because goddamn, Gen Alpha is so fucking stupid. And it's also a really stupid name when you stop and think about it. Like, seriously. Who's coming up with the names of these generations, and how can we legally assassinate them? Like, no. That is a really stupid name to name the next generation. But yeah, like, I just don't understand why people think it's okay to just let their children do whatever the fuck it is they want to do. For example, a lot of teachers are quitting now. A lot of them are just saying, you know what, fuck this. I'm out of here. And, you know, I don't blame them. When you're getting punched and kicked and cussed at every 2 seconds, which alright, I'm gonna be real with you here. I don't really care about the whole issue with kids cursing. You know, I think that they should be allowed to say whatever they want to say, just as long as it's not racist or homophobic or what, or even, you know, just sexist. But, you know, what's not okay is treating teachers this way, just abusing them, and they quit, they leave, they're gone, they're done. So teachers are quitting because of this generation, and I saw a little bit of this when I was in high school, and it's bad. It's really fucking bad, and I know. You've probably seen about 5 billion other videos talking about the same thing, but we wouldn't have to be talking about it if it wasn't a fucking issue, now would we? And, you know, another problem is that if they aren't causing behavioral issues for teachers and staff and their parents and whatever, then, you know, they're fucking retarded. They are dumb as shit. Like, very dumb. And, you know, it sucks ass that, you know, you see all these videos and you think, oh, it can't be that bad. But you actually set one of these kids down and you try to talk to them, be like, alright, what's 2 plus 2? And they have no fucking idea what 2 plus 2 is. Like, at all. You ask them, you know, who's the current president of the United States? I don't know. You ask them, you know, just simple, basic questions, and they have no fucking idea what you're talking about. So kids today are really fucking stupid. They can't read, they can't write, they can't do math, and at the end of the day, I'm kind of worried. Like, I'm legitimately worried about all this, because these children are the future generation. They are the future doctors and lawyers and nurses and teachers of this country. And so, you know, that's a really fucked up thing to think about, is that how fucked we are as a society, that this is the best we can do. That this is the future. This is what's happening right now. And sadly, I don't see an end to it. I don't see, like, an actual solution, because, I mean, we're already too far gone. Like, we are legitimately too far gone at this point, and I really hate to say that. I mean, who the fuck am I kidding? I love saying this shit. But in all seriousness, though, like, I'm worried about this generation and just how fucked we are. Damn, that was a good dodge. Okay, never mind. I am getting this shit beat out of me. Hold on. Oh! That took a lot of my health. No! Ah, that took all my health. Holy shit. Anyways, as I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by that motherfucker, you know, as if it wasn't bad enough that, you know, these kids are causing violence and disruptions in the classroom and everywhere else, I mean, you sit one of these Generation Alpha kids at a fucking table at McDonald's, you hear everything. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're causing issues. And then, you want to know what the solution is for the parents? Just give an iPad. Just give these children an iPad, and I think that in itself is a problem. The fact that technology has gone to the point where, like, and also, like, the parents, I'm blaming the fucking parents on this here more than the technology itself, because technology is a tool. You know, these iPads, these iPhones, these computers, they're all tools. It's how you use these tools that determine, you know, whether or not it's actually a good idea. But I have actually seen, when I was in school, I had actually seen fucking preschoolers with a smartphone. Like, and not with the SIM card removed, without the Wi-Fi, no. These kids had full access to the internet. Unsupervised access. At fucking preschool age. And, you know, it's fucked up to think about. But, you know, that's just the way it is now, sadly. You know, we live in the future where everybody's got a smartphone. Everybody has a tablet or a computer or some way to use the internet. And it's a fucking shame. It is a real shame. Because instead of actually doing their jobs, and parents, I'm talking to you, and I understand not every parent is this way. Some of them actually have brains and can actually do their fucking jobs. But the sad thing is, a lot of parents now, they don't want to do their jobs. If a kid is crying or whining or complaining or whatever, they don't want to deal with that shit. So what do? They stick an iPad in front of them and let them watch Cocomelon or Skibbity Toilet. Alright? Now, I'm going to be real here. The content that we have as well, that Generation Alpha is growing up with, is absolutely abysmal. And I hate that. I think that, you know, Skibbity Toilet is the most retarded shit possible. I think Cocomelon is really stupid. It literally rots your fucking brain. And that's all it does. It just... It rots your brain. And these kids are getting exposed to this kind of shit. And Blippi as well. Blippi is another problem. But at least Blippi is somewhat educational. But the fact is, they're getting brought up instead of, like, actually the real world. They're being brought up on a digitized world where everything is online and everything they watch is online. They don't go outside anymore. Their parents don't take them outside. They don't... back when I was a kid, I went outside all the damn time. You know? And, you know, sadly, these kids don't even know what outside is anymore. And the only outside world they know is school, and they act up at school all the time. And teachers don't want to deal with it anymore. They're done, so they quit. The staff and the principals and superintendents, they don't know what the fuck to do about it. So they just pass the children because, oh, we don't want to deal with them anymore. And, you know, another problem is, like, nobody cares anymore. And teachers have to deal with this. And the parents have to deal with it. Now, part of the problem is the kids themselves. Some kids are just so fucked up. Some kids are just really fucked up, and even without the technology and the bad parenting. And I'm just gonna fucking flat out say it. If you use an iPad to parent, and I'm using that as air quotes, as air quotey as I possibly can. If you're using an iPad to parent your children, you're a bad parent. You don't deserve to have children because you're not doing your job. You're not teaching the children anything. You're teaching them that, you know, bad manners and violence and all this other shit is rewarded. Back in my day, if I were to do a lot of this shit that, like, you know, these kids today are doing, I would have been brutally fucking murdered. Because, you know, that shit just ain't tolerant these days. I am aiming horribly. That did nothing. Oh my god. That guy's got leap. I had health. What the hell are you talking about? Anyways. But, you know, it's not just about, like, again, behavioral issues or the fact that they're really fucking stupid. It's the fact that we live in a generation where iPads rule over everything. The iPad kids, the fucking toddlers with smartphones. And that shit is rotting their brain. It actively is. And, you know, parents not wanting to do their jobs and actually parent their children. And it leads to this kind of shit. And the sad thing is, the rest of us, we have to deal with it. Every time we go to Walmart or we go to like McDonald's or go to another restaurant, an actual nice restaurant, we have to deal with your shitty ass children always complaining and bitching. And what do? You give them an iPad instead of actually telling them to shut the fuck up and behave. So these kids are growing up realizing that bad behavior and whining and complaining and crying and yelling at everything in a more violent way is rewarded. Oh, you're just a little whiny bitch. Don't worry. I got an iPad for you to watch videos on and to browse the internet unsupervised. And, you know, that is not cool. Not at all. I don't think children should have smartphones. A lot of the times, I don't even think teenagers should have smartphones. But they do. Everybody in my school had a fucking everybody. There is not a single person at my high school that did not have a smartphone in their possession. And I was the outsider. I had a fucking tablet. But no, seriously, we live in a day and age where everyone's got a smartphone, and if you try to take it away from them, you know, if you try to take away a smartphone or a tablet from these kids, they will complain. They will get violent. They will beat the fuck out of you. And teachers are terrified to apprehend these students because they don't want to lose their jobs, but at the same time, they don't want to let these kids win. They don't want to let them do whatever. And so, you know, it's gotten to the point where we're fucked. We are completely and totally fucked. Without a shadow of a doubt, we are fucked. Because at the end of it all, you know, these kids, you know, like I said, are the future. These kids are the future generation that will lead the way. And that is a really stupid, sad thing to think about because, you know, these kids, like I said, they can't read, they can't write, they can't do basic math, they can't do whatever. I saw a video that, you know, these kids are like in 7th or 8th grade, and they're reading and writing and learning on a 4th grade level. But they're still getting passed around. They're getting passed and told, yeah, don't worry about it. And to me, that is fucked up. That is really fucked up. That is just the dumbest thing I ever heard. I've actually heard some schools are actually removing like math and English and shit like that as required classes to graduate or to move on to the next grade because so many people are failing these classes, so many students. Yeah, like that's gonna fucking solve anything. That's only gonna make the situation a hell of a lot worse. It's only gonna make these kids dumber and dumber and you know, just really, it's gonna cause a lot more issues down the line. But does anybody ever actually care? Does anybody ever actually think about the consequences of their actions? That maybe if we do this, it's gonna cause issues 10, 20 years down the line. We're already seeing a bunch of issues with kids and whatever. But, you know, it's just a thing where I just don't understand why or how, you know, anybody could ever look at this and think it's a good thing. And there are clearly people that think this is a good idea. That all of this is totally fine. It's totally normal. And while it might be normal, it shouldn't have to be normal. It shouldn't have to be normalized that kids are fucking stupid and kids are way more violent than they used to be. Like I said, back then, if I were to threaten a teacher, I would get expelled. I would be sent home and then promptly destroyed by people. I would be beaten. You know, and, you know, I would be told like it was. I would be like, you know, don't do that. If you ever do this again, I'm kicking your ass. Because, like I said, you know, disrespect was not tolerated. Nowadays, everybody is far too comfortable with being disrespected. Parents and teachers and whatnot, and there's only so much that people can take before they snap. And when they snap hard. You know, these teachers, it takes a lot for them to quit and to leave, but, you know, ooh, nice. But you know, it does. It takes a whole lot to deal with this. Where the hell did you come from? God damn. Anyways, as I was saying before I got interrupted by that asshole. Yeah, I'm playing Bloodborne, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. Whoa. That was close. I would have actually died. And I know I have a lot of health healing items, but I'm not using them right now. Gotta play tactfully. You gotta... Okay, yeah. Oh, you wanna go? Yeah! Yeah! Hey-ya! Yeah. Anyways, you know, this generation is, I legitimately hope, like, without a shadow of a doubt, without any sort of you know, problems, I hope that this is the last generation. I hope that after this, we are done. Because you want to know what happens after this? Damn! I'm already dead! Stop trying to slap me. But, yeah, you know what's gonna happen? Is that, you know, when these kids start having kids, when they are... you know, and they're fucking, literally, teen pregnancy is already an issue. A lot of teens just cannot handle having children. But, you know, with all this and not being told safe sex measures or whatever, there's going to be a lot more of that. And that's only going to make the issue a hell of a lot worse. And, you know, at that point, we're really fucked, because that next generation that comes after this generation, you know, Gen Alpha, which again, I think is a really stupid fucking name. I don't understand why Gen Alpha is even a thing. It's only gonna make things worse, because these kids don't know anything, right? And if they know something, you know, it's not a whole lot. All they know is iPad, iPhone, you know, whatever. They don't know basic math. They don't know how to behave in public, which I think is more important than learning about math and whatnot. You have to know how to behave in public, because you're going to spend a lot of time, even if you don't think you are, you're going to spend a lot of time in public. Not just with school, but imagine going to college or getting a job. You know, trying to get a job. And that's going to be bad for the workforce as well. It's not just going to be bad for the rest of us, but it's going to be really bad for, you know, the workforce, because we're going to be seeing, as if, like, AI and machines aren't going to take over already, the very few people that will be working these jobs, actual people, they are going to basically fuck it all up, because they don't know what they're doing. They can't handle basic, you know, math or anything. Comprehension of the fact that, you know, of what to do in these jobs. And so they're gonna fuck it up, and again, we're gonna have to pay for it. We're gonna have to suffer. And it really does suck that so many people are this way, that they don't care. This is not a concern to them. It fucking should be. This should definitely be a concern, because, I mean, we're seeing time and again issues where, you know, all of this is happening, and it's only going to get worse from here. It's not just a simple one-off solution. One or two kids are fucked up, so whatever. No, this is happening across the board, across the US. This is happening all over the place. And I feel like this is a more American issue than it is an issue in other parts of the world. Like, I don't know, Germany, Japan, the UK. Like, if you think about it, the world is not the US. The US is way worse in a lot of cases. And I do legitimately feel as if the world is laughing at us right now. The whole world is probably thinking, you know, what the fuck is wrong with the US? Why is everybody in the US a bunch of crazy people for letting this happen in the first place? And you know what? That's my question. That's what I want to know. That's exactly what I want to know. You know, that's exactly what I legitimately want to know. I want to know just how... Hold on. Yeah, that's what you get for trying to kill me. Oh. A bell. Anyways, that's what I was saying. You know, the rest of the world is looking at us and just laughing and in confusion, just wondering what the fuck is wrong with us. And like I said, I want to know that question too. I want to know the answer to that. Like, why are we so fucked up? Why is it only the US that has all these problems? You know, the US is the leading country in school shootings, in poverty, in a bunch of other things that we should not be. We should not be number one at all these horrible things. Homelessness, starvation, and hunger, and that sort of thing. We are the lowest in jobs and, you know, pay and whatnot. And it really shows, you know, for the supposed best country in the world, or one of the best countries in the world, we're seeing time and again that that is just not the case. This country is only getting worse and worse. This country is becoming something, I mean, it has been for however long, like for years, even like decades at this point. But yeah, it's been becoming something that I don't think anybody wanted this country to become in the first place. And I agree, I don't want this country to fail. But we're failing. And we are failing hard. We are just the worst country, I would say. Sure, you know, I agree that we are better in some cases. We have more money, we have more businesses, and we are better off than a lot of other countries who don't have a whole lot. But that doesn't matter. We are a country that should not have to deal with stupid children or violent children. you know, we as a country should figure out what to do. And I already know the fucking solution. But the question is, do the rest of you? I mean, like I said, I think the problem is the parents. The parents are a huge problem. Because, you know, these parents, they never tell their children no. They never tell their children, you know, right from wrong. They just give them an iPad when they are you know, just horrible people. And I don't really blame the I do blame the children, but I don't blame the children, like, completely. It's not the children's fault as a whole. Yeah, they're to blame because they're doing all this. They're causing a bunch of issues. But it's not fully their fault. It's their fault, it's the parents' fault, it's society's fault as well. Because we let this happen. You know, we let these kids down. Now, as much as I hate children, I despise them. I personally think that Mew. But yeah, like, I just don't understand a lot of people nowadays. I don't understand why people would just cause all these issues and, you know, just allow this to happen. Because it's only making things a lot worse. Like, so much worse than it even needed to be in the first place. The world has become something way different than it was when I was a kid. And I know, I'm only 24. But you have to fucking admit, there is something seriously wrong here. Something completely fucked up. Something that should never happen in the first place. But you want to know what this country is really good at? This country is really good at holding off on problems until, you know, it gets out of hand and it cannot be contained any longer. It cannot be saved. You know, and only then will we do something about it, when all the fucking children are causing problems, when, you know, all these TikTok trends take over, all these children are evil and fucked up, even more than they already are. Like, think about it this way. Why would you want to deal with this? Why would you want to even accept the fact that my children is a problem and it's my fault? Like, parents don't want to fucking take accountability for their actions, or their lack of actions in this case, and they just want to, you know, again, give these kids iPads or iPhones instead of actually doing their job. And I think that should be a form of child abuse, because you're letting your children down. You are letting them down by not doing anything when they start getting, you know, like, if I had a child, first off, little to no technology. Yeah, I'd let them play video games. I'd let them play games like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, but, like, I would teach them right from wrong, first off. Secondly, you know, I would also just, you know, teach my children that you should not act up. If you act up, I'm beating the fuck out of you. Put the fear of Hitler in them. But nah, in all seriousness though, like, I would teach my children right from wrong. I would actually do my job, which a lot of people in this day and age don't do. And so we see a lot of children suffer because of it, because, oh, well, you know, I don't want to do my job. I know I gave birth to this child, or I helped give birth to this child, but, I don't really want to do my job, so instead, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm not gonna, take the time and the effort to parent or monitor what my children are doing. And so, when they grow up in life and they are about as fucked up as they could possibly be, oh well. Not my problem. Not my fault. Actually, it is your fault. It is your problem. You decided to let these children do whatever the fuck it is they want to do in the first place. You don't give them any direction. You don't give them any discipline. And we're seeing a big problem now. A huge-ass problem with this. We are seeing so much problems here. And it's only, like I said, getting worse. So yeah, Generation Alpha sucks ass. We need to do better as a country and a society. We need to fucking focus on the problem and fix it now. Not tomorrow, not 10 hours from now, at this very fucking moment. We need to act now. Because if you don't, if we don't, well, that's just gonna be a problem for you years later down the line. You think these kids are bad now as like, as like fucking, I don't know, 4 or 5-year-olds or whatever. Think about when your children are teenagers. Yeah, think about it. All your children are teenagers. And that's gonna make it worse. So much worse. But again, that's not your problem, right? I actually did my job. I gave birth to this thing. Yeah, that is not proper parenting. Anybody can give birth to a child. I mean, yeah, there are some that can't. But, anybody in theory could give birth to a child. Anybody can adopt a child. Anybody can own a child. Right? But that doesn't make you a proper parent. It makes you just the bare minimum. Oh, I have a child now. What do I do with it? I don't know. Cherish it. Love it. Teach it right from wrong. Teach it to be a better person so that 10 to 15 years when they're fucking adults, it's not gonna be a huge problem as it is now. And I get, some kids are already fucked up anyway. Some kids just, no matter what you do, they're fucked. It's something with the brain, something with their mind. But at the very least, you could say you tried. But as it stands right now, you ain't trying. You're not fucking trying at all. And so, and so we're gonna have to deal with it for another several decades. And like I said, it's gonna suck ass when, 15, 20 years down the line, these kids start having kids. And that's gonna make it a lot worse. And I mean, a lot worse. Because, you know, we just aren't gonna deal with this anymore. We're not gonna deal with, you know, any of this. At least we shouldn't have to. But the way the world is now, you know, the way the world is now, it's only going to get worse. And it's your fault. It's the parents' fault for not doing anything. It's, you know, the kids' fault for acting this way. It's the teacher's fault for quitting. It's the staff's fault for not doing what they should be doing. And by that, I mean actually doing their job and holding these kids accountable for their actions that they have at school. And so, at this point in time, I don't see any way of this getting better. I see it getting worse and worse and worse. Every second we're not doing anything is a second that is just going to be worse. You know, it's, you know, every second that we sit here doing nothing is a second that could be spent, you know, actually helping these children. But also, I see it as several years down the line, you're gonna see a lot of kids in prison and jail. You're also gonna see them get like death row and shit like that, because I mean, they were never taught as a kid what to do, and there's only so much that a judge is willing to put up with. By that point, the judge ain't gonna give a fuck, and your kid is going to die in front of you, and all I can do is laugh in your face as the kid that you failed to raise is dead now. And then I'd tell you to no longer have a child, because the same thing will happen. You know, we're just setting these kids up for failure at this point. And it is not okay. The kids are not alright. Alright? You know, we're all fucked anyway. But we're gonna be more fucked if we don't do anything about this. If we don't make an attempt and an effort to save these children from a horrible future. Or, you know, at the very least, keep them from fucking up. Because, you know, as much as I hate children, I despise them. I hate seeing kids end up poorly. Just because their parents are abominations that don't want to do their fucking jobs. And it's, like I said, it's only getting worse. We're seeing this happen far too often. And really, it's just stupid. to even think that we stand a chance at this point. You know what? At the end of the day, fuck it. Who cares? Just do whatever. Alright? Just let them do whatever the fuck they want. Fucking fuck themselves over. Let the parents fuck their children over. Let the kids give birth to children. Let the children give birth to children. And let them fucking have no idea. And let's have that country fucking fail. Alright? You know, at this point, I really don't care. I think that it is a bad idea, but whatever. What the fuck do I know? You know, I'm just a person that's been around for 24 fucking years. I'm just a fucking Neko who has been around for, like, 24 years. What the fuck do I know? Yeah, I've seen some shit. But it's mostly because of bad parenting. I mean, shit, where I live, here in Meigs County, nobody's a fucking responsible parent. Nobody. No one does anything except teach their kids that gay people are bad and whatever. That's all Meigs Countyans do. They teach their children the wrong things. And why do you think there's a lot of hate here? Exactly. Fucking exactly. That's why there's a lot of hate. Because people stop caring. Well, it's about fucking time that we do something about it. You know, we're all fucked. We're all gonna die. We're all just gonna suffer anyway. Who cares? Fuck everyone. Video's over. I'm pissed. Peace out and bro hoof and all that fucking bullshit.